It's been 2 years since Sidney Prescott survived the Woodsboro murder spree, perpetrated by her psychotic boyfriend Billy Loomis and his demented friend Stu. Now in college, Sidney is haunted by the murders and struggles to trust others. With the release of a movie based on the real killings, a new Ghostface has emerged and is hunting Sidney's friends once again. Armed with knowledge of horror sequels and a new gang of meat shields, Sidney goes up against Ghostface for the second time in Wes Craven's killer sequel, 1997's Scream 2. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Austin Johnson.
And you are listening to Filmgazm. Welcome back to Woodsboro, boys and girls. It's time for another Filmgazm, and today we get to revisit an old episode with a sequel. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Josh will unfortunately not be joining us today after all. Nothing serious, just scheduling conflict. So, sorry.
You're always with us, buddy.
Yes, indeed. See you for Scream 3. But first, we've got one update on the Rewind, and it updates our 82nd episode on Dead Ringers. Amazon is planning a reboot of Dead Ringers as a series, and Rachel Weisz is signed on to play the twins with a gender reversal. What are your thoughts on this?
I hadn't heard of this at all. I love Rachel Weisz. I rolled my eyes when you initially said it, but I love Rachel Weisz. You said Prime?
Yes.
That's interesting. I'll probably give it a go at some point, but I don't see really why.
Yeah.
Dead Ringers also isn't like a very popular movie, so I'm not really sure who this is for at all. Yeah.
I mean, our Dead Ringers I thought was just okay. I didn't think it was really worthy of further exploration.
Yeah.
I don't get the gender reversal because this comedy really kind of works by two dudes being like doing it. The whole movie was about them like manipulating women.
Yeah, maybe now she's going to be manipulating men. Yeah, maybe they'll reverse everything. It's going to be weird. Yeah.
It's just not the same level of,
Well, she could be manipulating women. Be a lesbian.
Maybe.
Rachel Weisz can really do anything.
I'm not on board with this. Nah.
Yeah, no, I'll probably watch one episode, then I probably won't like it very much.
Yeah, I'm tired of them turning, well, first it was good movies, now it's okay movies, into TV shows.
Random ass movies, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It almost never works, too.
Yeah, weird.
These things rarely last like a full season, but they keep doing it. Ugh. Wow. Yeah. Now for Scream 2. Directed by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson, the duo that brought us the first film. We've talked about Wes Craven so much on this podcast already. If you don't know who he is, this is the wrong podcast for you.
Yeah, we've yet to cover some of his biggest films, but obviously we will get into them one day.
Yeah, after this, we've done the first two Screams and The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Yeah.
More to come.
Is that it?
I think so.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, because we haven't tapped Elm Street yet.
No.
We didn't do Last House on the Left or The Hills Have Eyes.
Nope.
So I think that's as far as we've gotten.
Yeah, I'm excited for those.
Yeah. For those of you who follow us consistently, you know that we draw our picks from the book of Filmgazm. So you never know. We don't even know what we're going to get till we get it.
Yeah, it's very rare that we handpick something. It's either going to be something special that came out recently or something, just we're feeling, like changing it up. Like Toxic Avenger.
Yeah. That was a personal pick.
Changing it up last week, doing something very different. Scream 2 here came out of the book.
Yes, it did.
Which is very cool because we just did Scream, 2-3 months ago?
I don't think, not even that long ago.
I don't even know. Time is a construct, and I don't know what's going on in 2020.
Oh, dude, I'm just living, one day at a time these days.
Livin.
Scream 2 was greenlit immediately following Scream's financial and critical success. It was based off a 5-page treatment by Williamson that he had used to pair with his first film script when he was trying to entice bidders with a potential franchise. So he brought them the Scream script, and he's like, oh, by the way, here's 2 and 3 if you ever want it. Guy had a plan. The film suffered a few setbacks, including the original ending getting leaked onto the internet, and this was way back when the internet was just starting out, so they didn't know how to protect against that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that forced Craven and Williamson to change the identity of the killers so he could surprise the audience. It was a critical darling, with many arguing that it surpassed the original in quality. And an argument could be made. This is a very good sequel.
Yeah, it's in that boat of sequels, and I think we're going to talk about some sequels today just as we go along. I would put it in the same boat of, like, Here's an example, at least for my mind, would be Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi,
Okay.
where it's right there. It's right there. But there's just something about the first
Yeah.
and the OG and the cast. I really like the cast from both of them, but that first one, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a little bit more special.
Well, Scream kind of changed the game. Scream was a horror movie about horror movies.
Yes.
And building on that can be good or bad, but that original is going to be hard to top.
Yeah. It happens. It happens. It's just, it's tough.
But I like how this movie was a horror sequel about horror sequels. Like it built on that same kind of shtick.
Amazing.
Yeah. But it was smart.
And like one of my favorite scenes of the whole film is when they're in the classroom talking about, sequels and whatnot. It's just genius stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. So our returning cast members include Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott.
Yeah. I mean, has to, right?
Yeah.
Has to be here, especially here in the second one. When you're doing a 1-2, 96, 97, you absolutely need her, who's at the peak of her powers, never really got anywhere else.
Regrettably, yeah.
Yeah, she's just wonderful.
Well, her schedule for Scream 2 was insane because she was also shooting Party of Five.
I read that, yeah.
And it was just
Good
a nightmare.
Lord.
Like 7 days a week she was on. I can't imagine. Jesus. To just come home, wash off the blood of Scream, and then go play Party of Five.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No biggie.
That's dedication.
Campbell.
Then we have Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, of course. David Arquette as Dewey Riley. Jamie Kennedy as Randy Meeks. And Liev Schreiber as Cotton Weary. So they all came back.
Yeah.
And Cotton got a bigger part. I like how they played,
Oh, yeah.
how they planted those seeds in the first one. He's just on TV clips, but now he's a full-fledged character
Yes.
and kind of a dick.
Perfect.
But understandably.
Oh, yeah. And Liev Schreiber, one of the thoughts I had when, he popped up, I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah. I love that he does have that big role here in the second one. What a weird career.
Yeah, for sure.
His filmography, right, is all over the place. And he's tried so many different kinds of things. I'd venture to say that he's pretty underrated.
I agree. He's one of the few things I liked about the Omen remake.
I think he's the only thing I like about it.
Fair enough. I liked Mia Farrow being the nanny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great touch.
Yes. But that movie's pretty weak.
It's pretty bad. I mean, when you're comparing it to the...
I thought he was a fantastic Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was a shit film, but he did a great job as Sabretooth. I wish we'd seen more of him.
Yeah.
I didn't see Ray Donovan, but I heard it was a great show.
I've seen a little bit of it. I didn't get too into it, but yeah, he's good.
And then he just kind of pops up from time to time.
Spotlight, his role in Spotlight is wonderful.
Spotlight.
Very strong, where he's the guy from, I believe he moves from Florida to the Boston Globe, and he's, coming in like, all right, I'm going to make these changes, and he Defiance, he just kind of pops up, and he's able to work alongside these guys and be right there with them. And I just, that there's a lot there. I think Liev Schreiber deserves like a little more. I don't even want to say respect. I think he just deserves more looks.
Yeah.
I think people
more
should,
attention.
Yeah, more attention. People should watch his stuff more and be like, oh yeah, that's Defiance isn't just a Daniel Craig movie. It's Liev Schreiber.
It's been so long since I saw Defiance.
It's a cool movie.
That's such a great story.
It's a cool one. Yeah.
The Bielski brothers.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's Liev stuff we're forgetting that we're gonna remember later and be like, oh, what's that one comedy I watched recently? Day Trippers.
Day Trippers, yeah,
Day
I remember
Trippers.
that.
He's wonderful in that. I hadn't seen him be that funny ever, and he's riding around a lot in a car and very smart and very, quick-witted in that movie. So yeah, Liev, shout out, man, we love you.
And some of our newcomers include Sarah Michelle Gellar as Cece Cooper,
Yeah,
a ditzy blonde sorority girl. Gellar was cast primarily because of her role as strong, independent warrior Buffy Summers on the WB's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes,
And Cece is basically the exact opposite of Buffy. She's a, kind of an idiot who gets it killed immediately.
yeah.
And it's just cool that she decided, she agreed to do that. I mean, this was 96. So this was
96 is Scream, 97 is Scream 2. So.
97 was Scream 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mistake. So this was in the middle of Buffy's run.
Yeah.
This was like season 2 or 3. I'm a huge Buffy fan.
That's really cool. I think we pointed out a few times on Scream, just the dedication and commitment you get from people when they're working for something that's Wes Craven, right?
Yeah.
When you have that name attached to it and that guy at the helm making these decisions, when he says something, you're just going to kind of get on board because it's probably going to be correct because he's proven it. His track record, speaks for itself. So, I love when you have these movies when people are kind of just fucking buying into the idea of, hey, we're kind of, making fun of stuff, but also bringing people along and then scaring people at the same time. It's really, really amazing. And movies that kind of had to be made in the 90s, right?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone involved in these movies are pure 90s mainstays.
Jada Pinkett Smith?
Yeah.
At the beginning? I mean, and she's just like absolutely stunning. She's so gorgeous. She has been for so long. But during this time, Menace to Society is in 93, and I loved her in that. But then you see her in Scream 2, and you're like, holy shit, the short hair, she's amazing. I love that beginning scene. It's awesome.
It's great.
It's such a great way to bring you in, especially as a movie lover, because if people are just going nuts in a theater. It's awesome.
Honestly, that upset me a lot, because if it was a premiere of a movie that I was really looking forward to, and everyone's freaking the fuck out, I'd be pissed.
I'd walk out. Give me my goddamn money back. I'll come back tomorrow when the normal people are here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I prefer kind of quiet. Now, there are videos of these, these in-game videos of these screenings in Los Angeles and whatnot, where people kind of go bananas. That's kind of cool.
Sure, for certain scenes, but for just like a constant, woo,
for
the
an
whole
hour and a
time.
half? Yeah.
My God.
Fuck out of here. Yeah. No, thank you.
But those moments when you see like a big movie on opening night and something amazing happens and everyone there just loses their shit, that's a special moment.
Oh, I mean, horror is, a lot of the things I think of when I think of horror are those moments in the theater where you can feel it really just drop. And like if something were to drop on the floor, you'd fucking hear that shit, you know? Those moments, or the moments in, Conjuring, and people are, you can feel people gasping.
Oh,
that's the
great.
shit you live for. The energy. And so like that's really cool at the beginning of the film to have that energy in the movie. You're like, Wes Craven fucking gets it, he gets it. This is great.
It is. The guy, he was the name in horror for the longest time. He was the one, like the most respected horror director working. And yeah, what he could have gone on to do. And he wasn't done.
Oh, no.
He got cut short.
Goddamn right. Yeah, well short. I personally have not... I think I've spoken, a bit about how I'm not like a mega fan of his, or haven't seen everything, right?
Yeah.
But goddamn, I respect it so much.
Well, what I have seen, I have adored. That's what I'll say about Wes Craven. Because there's a lot of his big films I have not yet watched.
Elm Street, I'm not huge into.
The movie, yeah, but the character of Freddy.
For sure.
What, like certain films, like Wes Craven's New Nightmare might be my favorite film of his. That movie is unsettling as fuck, and it's so smart, and it's so meta. I can't wait to do that on the show. But, things like that.
Yeah, I totally get on board with that. I just think, speaking from like his, like Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, is that right? I just wasn't like, as a movie, I was like, I'm not quite sure if maybe I'm not understanding what's going on here.
No, it's super cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't on board really.
It's not scary anymore at all. Elm Street 84 has some good moments, but overall, yeah, it's pretty cheesy.
And it's more about the character, right? Like you said.
Yeah.
It's more about that kind of like cultural part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Jerry O'Connell as Derek, Sydney's new too good to be true boyfriend. O'Connell is known for his performances in Stand By Me, Kangaroo Jack, and the TV series Sliders, just to name a few.
And Piranha.
Oh yeah, he's the porn guy.
Yeah, he's the dickhead who's trying to force these girls to film weird shit, and then gets his whole body chewed up by piranhas. It's wonderful. Yeah. That movie's awesome. Can't wait till we draw it.
The only movie I've ever seen a floating dick just get chomped to shreds.
That movie is really, really going for it.
Yeah,
it really, when you get to the bits with Adam Scott. Flying around on a jet ski, people's hair is getting going into the engine and people's head flying off. It's really, really wild stuff. And the fact that O'Connell is in the middle of it blows my mind. Because, for me, the first thing would have been Stand By Me that I saw. Yeah. Where, I remember my mom kind of explaining, who these guys were, right? Yeah. He's one of them.
For me, it was Kangaroo Jack.
Anthony Anderson, baby. Legend.
I can't hate that movie. It's so bad, but I love it.
Yeah, no, it hits a spot.
It's, Christopher Walken, Michael Shannon. I mean, Jesus. And
Kangaroos.
Kangaroo Jack. When I saw that, my mom told me who Jerry O'Connell was, and he was the chubby kid from Stand By Me.
Yeah.
And I watched Stand By Me, and I'm like, that can't be the same guy. And she's like, no, he's married to Mystique from X-Men. And I'm like, no way, no, life can't be that unfair, no. And yeah, turns out they're still together. Weird. Good for him.
Yeah, Jer.
And in this movie, he's ridiculously too good. Like, he's over the top best boyfriend ever.
Yeah, I was almost trying to find guys to compare him to, and there isn't.
There isn't. Nobody's this cheerful. Nobody's this decent.
Without having like
an agenda,
like a murderous background.
Yeah,
or like the whole movie flips. Yeah, but no,
It's almost like he should be the friend more than he should be the boyfriend. He's got that mentality. Like, there's no way she's sleeping with this guy. That's just the vibe I got.
Yeah. That's great.
Then we have Timothy Olyphant as Mickey, resident film expert. Olyphant is known for his leading role on the TV series Justified, which ran from 2010 to 2015. He's also appeared in such films as Gone in 60 Seconds, Live Free or Die Hard, Hitman, The Crazies, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he's great in this. He's such an underappreciated actor, I think, Timothy Olyphant. He really is a talented man.
Yeah. We talked about Liev. Timothy's on like a different, plateau, and I agree with you, man. He's not appreciated. The scene in Once Upon a Time, what he's doing with Leo, I don't think people quite grasp what we were watching at the time.
Yeah.
And I still stand by that. I think over time people are going to be like, God, we're idiots. That was Leo's best performance ever. He should have got the Oscar over Joaquin Phoenix. What were we thinking? I really do think that's going to be a moment in people's minds, like in movie people's minds. They're like, damn. Just because he's Leo, right? And we get so confused because he's good in everything. but point being, Timothy is like
holding his own.
Yeah, and pushing him, and they're doing things where their characters are so layered and they're going in and out of their own characters in the movie. It's really crazy stuff. I have a hard time even explaining it properly. And Justified. I've seen the first season. I've spoken so many times about TV on this show. It's hard for me to commit, hard for me to really stay into stuff, but that show is good. I definitely want to pick it back up at some point because, that show's pretty cool.
I bought the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray on clearance for like $2 a pop because I thought this is too good to pass up, and I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah, and Walton Goggins is the bad guy, at least for season 1, so what I saw, and he was pretty frightening. I definitely want to pick that back up. He's awesome. That's a good call. And he's great in this. The hair. Just the attitude, the film, like...
It's almost like, of course this guy's the
Yes,
bad guy.
Exactly.
Of course he did
Yes, exactly.
Nobody quotes movies like that much in this franchise without having a murderous intent. That's just how this works.
It's perfect.
Unless you're Jamie Kennedy. Then we have Oscar nominee Laurie Metcalf as Debbie Salt, local reporter. Wink, wink. Metcalf was nominated for her performance in 2017's Lady Bird. She's also known for her role as Jackie Harris on Roseanne and later on The Connors. Mm-hmm. She's also voiced Andy's mom in all 4 Toy Story movies. Mm-hmm. And she's great in this. She's just, hidden in the back. Like, you don't expect her to be anybody of substance.
Yeah.
And then turns out she's the fucking mastermind. Billy's mom.
Perfect.
Who the fuck knew? Great.
It's perfect. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that touch. Something that even when you rewatch it, just kind of gets you again. Each time you're like, that's great. That's great. Yeah. It has that feel, that consistency, that pace. Love it.
For a film like Scream to be rewatchable, despite almost everything hinging on the twist, that's an amazing achievement.
Yeah. I think that's mainly my point. Is there's films, Usual Suspects even. For me, I adored it. The first time I saw it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And
then it really lost a lot of its juice. It really did for me. For me as a fan, I love the performances. I love some of the, Kaiser Soze. But it lost a lot of its juice that second time. Scream doesn't have that for whatever reason.
It doesn't. If anything, you're more excited because now you can kind of pick it apart as you go along.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sure I'll find out one day. You kind of do these things as you keep watching and keep figuring stuff out in your own mind about what you love and like and don't like about movies. That's the shit you find out. So I'm curious as time goes on if I'll kind of make the connections because I don't know, because yeah, Scream I have no problem rewatching. It's just this is a delight.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Hands down. And
Yeah.
Scream 2, just, I thought it was just as good, in my opinion.
It's right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's right there.
Honestly, I really like the first 3. 4 is okay, but they're all 4 watchable.
Yeah, agreed. I think 4 would be a 7 for me,
I think that's about
and the
what
rest are above.
I think that's what I did, yeah.
So yeah, they're all and the rest are 8 and above. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. They're all definitely watchable.
Laurie Metcalf, I see her randomly in 90s sitcoms that I watch. Like, she had guest appearances on
Oh, yeah.
Frasier and Third Rock from the Sun, and she always played somebody fucking crazy.
She's just killing it during that time.
So I should have known the first time I saw this. I should have known she was completely batshit.
That's her. She's the mastermind.
And then we have Elise Neal as Hallie, Sydney's latest best friend. Neal has also appeared in such films as Hustle and Flow, Mission to Mars, Malcolm X, and Logan. She's had a pretty colorful filmography there.
Has Logan ever come up on this podcast?
I don't think so. We've barely
so
brought
weird.
up the X-Men franchise.
Which is so weird. Wait, oh man, which you think about what Marvel's gonna do with all that, and it's just kind of like a mind fuck. But Logan is one of the better of the decade, one of the better past decade, obviously.
Yeah.
Superhero related movies, I think.
Yeah.
It is how I feel pretty strongly about it.
Yeah.
I know there's a crowd that feels really strongly about it and thinks it's like definitely the best superhero movie of the past decade.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way, but it is very good, and it's something that I hope they can kind of capture when they attack it again.
I don't think they'll ever do Old Man Logan again.
No, not necessarily. I'm talking about. I should have been more clear. Atmosphere and the way they took care of that film, the cinematography and those sort of things are really cool, and those things are really taken care of. Like in Joker, and you can definitely see in Batman that new trailer is like whoa. We're gonna talk about that later. It's clearly stepping the game up for like we're not just a superhero movie, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about how Christopher Nolan changed that years ago. I don't know.
I hate that phrase, just a superhero movie, because it kind of puts down the rest of it.
It puts.
I think that
You know what I'm saying, though? When I say, I know, it's a little unfair. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm putting movies in a box. Thor and Thor 2, and some of those earlier MCU ones are not as strong, and then of course they got much better, and they let guys like Taika Waititi take control. The content got really good. I mean, I got on board where I was like, I have to see these in theaters, sort of thing. I didn't really feel that way at the beginning. And I guess that's mainly my point. You're right. That is kind of putting them in a box that's a little unfair.
Yeah, it's a little
just.
a little Scorsese of you.
Yeah, well, if there was a Scorsese of two of us, I would certainly be it. But I'm not like that. I don't. You know me. I'm not that way. I love some of those movies. I really do. I just hope. Mainly, I hope it's taken care of really well.
Yeah,
Whatever they do.
sure they will.
With that character and with that stuff, I'm thinking, yeah. And it's just funny how Logan hasn't really been brought up here before.
Logan, honestly, I found it kind of underwhelming. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great.
Because of the hype or just because?
Because of the hype, and also because I thought the film was lacking a real serious villain.
Yes.
I wanted that. I wanted to see, like, an aged Sabretooth, or like, I heard a rumor Mr. Sinister might appear, and it ended up being like Richard E. Grant for 5 minutes. And I love Richard E. Grant, but that was a bummer. And I don't know. I just feel like with the scope of that thing, with like everything they wanted, I feel like they could have done more with it. Mm-hmm. But I do love the atmosphere. I love how Hugh Jackman handled the end of Wolverine. I thought that was brilliant. I think James Mangold did a great job making that movie, and I'm excited to see how he handles Indiana Jones.
Oh my lord!
I think he's a great name.
That's the most important thing. I think that's mostly my point with these things. Is if you get guys like them at the helm taking care of these things, they can be so good, because these stories and characters are so rich, and people are so in love with them.
There's decades of stuff to mine from on both sides, on DC and Marvel.
Oh.
And I think we're just gonna get more. I mean, if DC's recent Comic-Con thing proved anything, is that they're finally tapping into the craziness of comic books that we've been waiting for years.
Yeah.
And DC might actually rival Marvel in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously have so much ground to make up. So much. I mean, 20 movies worth of ground to make up.
Yes.
Really, that's really how I see it. You know, the Dark Knight trilogy was a long time ago.
Yeah, you can't ride those coattails anymore.
No. Doing that does not work anymore.
Nope.
There's been too many shit shows since then. You know?
Yeah.
So no, that doesn't work anymore. You can't do that. You know, yeah, they have to bring new content that works, and Joker's great way to start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's along the lines of Logan, where the atmosphere, taking care of the atmosphere of a, quote unquote superhero movie.
Yeah.
I don't think Joker's really a superhero movie, but you know what I mean.
It's a comic book movie, but it's not a superhero movie.
That's
It's a psychological thriller, if anything.
Yeah, good God. It's a piece of work.
It's a nightmare. It's a weirdo movie. I haven't wanted to watch it again. Like I've seen it and I'm good.
I've seen it twice now, and I saw it in theaters and watched it once because Brianna didn't go see it in theaters with me.
It's just an uncomfortable, unsettling.
I like it. I like it. I don't love it, and I really don't think Joaquin was doing anywhere near the best work he's ever done in that movie. So that was kind of disappointing to see it just kind of become this like non-race.
See, now having, almost a year's worth of thinking about it, Joker would be a great movie to revisit on our sister podcast, Oscar Sunday.
Yes.
With that kind of, mindset.
It would, yeah. Yeah, it would. I love him. You know me.
Yeah.
I'm saying that with, it's like a compliment. The one that he won the Oscar for, I just don't think was his best work.
What do you think he should have won the Oscar
for? The Master.
Yeah, I knew that. That was coming.
I mean, he's doing things in The Master that Todd Phillips, I think, wanted or thought in his head. This is what I want to happen to the Joker, but didn't quite know how to do it. PTA has some kind of hold on people and some kind of freedom and liberty with these actors, where that specific scene in The Master when he's in the prison cell with Philip Seymour Hoffman, he keeps banging his back up against the bunk bed.
Yeah.
Oscar, that stuff, he's fucking bonkers in The Master, and it's not ever forced. It feels so fucking real. It's awesome. Yeah.
You know what I think Joker's problem is, really? I think it would have been much better if it had just been a clown loses his mind. It didn't have to be the Joker.
It could have just been Arthur.
Just a man going insane due to a horrible fucking life in a society that ignores him. But throwing the Batman aspects into it, I think, gave people too much to expectations. And I just think that we're never going to get a payoff. Because it's not like he's ever coming back to do this again.
That's a good point.
Because once you add in the comic book flavor, it's no longer a drama. It's no longer just a drama. It's now a bigger part of things that you have a lot more to live up to.
Yeah, and now Gotham feels like it has to line up that way or look that way now.
Yeah.
With Joker. So yeah, you're right, man. If you attach those things with it and put a timeline on it and put these characters in it, and you put Bruce Wayne in it.
You did? They did?
Put him in there. You put him in there. You're doing these things. You're honestly confusing an audience who isn't super familiar with the material. You're confusing an audience who's like, well, who's that? Batman? What? And you're like, no. You're like, no. He's a child. It's Bruce Wayne as a child. He becomes Batman. And that was kind of a dumb move to me. Obviously, they made oodles amount of money.
Yeah.
And the movie, a huge success, won Oscars and did all this stuff. But yeah, when you're just critiquing it from the product itself, I agree with you.
Yeah. And I know we're probably contradicting ourselves for what we said in our bonus on Joker, but that was, a year ago. People change.
Again, I like it.
Yeah.
I've watched it since. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I love Joaquin with all my heart. And I actually think, I think there's some other performances in it. I think Robert De Niro, the little bits he's in are really strong. He brought it. For those bits he brought it. Mark Maron with him brought it. Those bits are fun. I just think overall, when a movie gets that kind of hype, you're just gonna kind of dig at it a little bit more. You're gonna poke.
Well, and now everyone is saying is Joaquin gonna play the Joker in Pattinson's Batman movie franchise?
And you're probably
no,
not.
just leave it. But people aren't gonna accept that because the way comic book movies are structured these days, everybody expects. Building.
Follow up.
Nothing stands alone anymore.
Oh, there's no Marvel forever for the existence of movies now. They're going to be having to come out with these movies. People expect that shit.
Yeah.
look what you guys did. You guys harnessed us in, gave us this great story, brought our asses into these chairs. You got to keep doing it. We don't want it to stop, So, it's not gonna keep going. And yeah, I'm afraid Joaquin, is probably gonna venture off and do other things.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not the kind to franchise anything. That's why he turned down Doctor Strange back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's always gonna do his own thing. You almost get the vibe he fucking hates this life. So
sometimes for sure, yeah, you do.
The last thing he wants is to be known as the Joker for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm mostly afraid of, right? Oscar-wise, I hope he gets another one for something else.
He probably will. Well, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, that was an interesting tangent. Back to Scream. So Scream 2 has an IMDb score of 6.2, Rotten Tomatoes score of 82%, surprisingly low audience score of 57.
Eek.
Not sure where that comes from. I thought people loved this one. It grossed $172 million on a budget of $24 million, grossing just over $500,000 less than the first film. So didn't quite meet Scream, but was still profitable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it still remains one of the most celebrated horror sequels in history. Mm-hmm. I am pretty sure. I pulled that out of nowhere, but I believe it.
Oh, yeah, from word of mouth, from experience.
And let's talk about the plot. So, we open on the premiere of Stab, a movie based on the actual killings in Woodsboro, based on the book by Gail Weathers. It's really, I want to say it's fucked up that they did this, but then again, one of our favorite movies is Zodiac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. Can't have that opinion, can you?
And we meet...
God damn it, David Fincher.
We meet Phil and his girlfriend Maureen, Omar Epps and Jada Pinkett. And they're talking about how, the plight of the black person in horror films.
Yeah.
Which is super ironic because it's exactly what fucking happens to them.
Yes.
And they got a point. Yeah, black people historically in horror films die first.
Or just aren't there.
Or aren't there at all.
Yeah, for sure. And this is something we've spoken a bit about, just as far as you don't want representation for representation's sake. You want it to be good. You want it to be real characters and real people going after and good writing. So it obviously is so fucking cool to see a guy like Jordan Peele, who has, worked in comedy and then horror, and has made 2 horror movies with, good black characters.
Yeah.
Very well thought out, well written, well developed, good actors. An understanding of representation. Awesome. That's the shit we need, man. It's so cool to see a movie, understand that, and be aware of it, and while it's happening, I love that. That's the kind of shit that horror does best, right? Being aware of what it is.
Yeah, the best horror films, play with it. The best horror films play with the genre. They play with your expectations. Mm-hmm. They play with the tropes.
Yes.
And that's how they end up being memorable. Like the Scream franchise. It's all about tongue-in-cheek references to its own genre.
Exactly. Fucking with you, showing you something like this, the irony of it happening while it's happening. It's all great.
And while making the movie Stab isn't necessarily as fucked up as it sounds, handing out costumes of the killer is pretty fucked up.
Agreed. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Especially when, remind the listeners that this costume completely hides your entire figure.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the actual replica of the costume Billy and Stu wore when they murdered all these people.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah. It's like if they made a biopic of John Wayne Gacy and when you went to see it, they gave you a fucking clown outfit. How fucked up would that be? That would be in the news.
Yeah, 100%.
That movie would be immediately pulled from theaters.
Banned. It'd be banned.
Oh my God. So they're sitting in the theater during the Casey Becker death scene. In the movie within the movie, mm-hmm. She's played by Heather Graham.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then later on, Billy Loomis is fucking Luke Wilson.
Yeah. I love that. I forgot about that personally. God, Luke Wilson, what a hero. Love that guy.
That's great. During her death scene, the crowd loses their minds. And Phil goes to the bathroom, hears a weird sobbing in the stall next door, and gets stabbed in the head when he goes to listen to it.
Pretty Pretty well developed little scene here. Another thing I kind of forgot, as we take a different lens watching these movies. That's Omar Epps' quality acting, right? He's kind of like going through, looking at the stalls, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on in here?" And he can like clearly hear something like, are there people like doing something sexual here? Like, and he kind of listens in, and then it gets stabbed in the head, and it's really fucking gory, really brutal, really violent. And this is again, shout out, this is the stuff when you're fucking with horror, understanding horror, and messing with it. It becomes so poppy.
Yeah,
it's right up in your face. It's really cool, really powerful stuff.
Well, they bring it up later that one of the rules of horror sequels is that the second one is always gorier.
Yes, exactly. Jamie Kennedy he kind of explains to us what's going on periodically. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. So now that he's dead, Maureen's kind of just like, I'm gonna go get a popcorn. She goes to get a popcorn, and this was before that death. Phil freaked her out.
Yeah.
But she's just like, she goes back to sit down, and the killer is sitting right next to her, watching the movie, just waiting. That's creepy.
Very
when you
creepy.
can't tell, because you gave everyone these fucking costumes.
Exactly. Everybody's going nuts. You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And this costume again hides the whole figure, so she thinks her husband's like, or boyfriend's like, oh, you just got one of those stupid things on.
Yeah. So when everyone freaks out at one of the death scenes, killer stabs her in the stomach.
Yeah.
Like multiple times, and she's like, ugh. And she climbs up on, she
starts wobbling down the aisle.
Yeah, walks in front of the screen, screams, falls to her death. Honestly, this could be a short film right there.
Yes, and it'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be genius. Great introduction to this film.
And nobody takes the attack seriously. They all think it's part of the, premiere.
Yes. Yeah.
Jesus. And then the crowd realizes she's not faking. And it's on the news. We then move to Windsor College in Ohio, no longer in Woodsboro. Sydney's college.
Yeah.
And she takes this shit very seriously, as one would if they survived a horrific event like that.
Yeah.
And she gets a phone call with some asshole saying, what's your favorite scary movie? And she's like, hey, I got you I got your phone number, asshole. He's like, oh, shit.
Fuck.
That made me laugh. It's like, this is a felony, by the way.
Yeah, I've gotten smarter since the last movie.
Yeah. Then with every movie, just Sydney becomes more and more, shut in and terrified. I like the development of her over the franchise.
It's something that I didn't appreciate when I was younger, for sure.
Yeah. And that comes from, Wes Craven being behind all 4 films. And I really hope that the upcoming 5th film, continues that trend if Neve Campbell does decide to come back.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So obviously with a ghost face murderer in town, Dewey shows up to be like, hey, you all right? Gail's there to catch the story because she doesn't learn a goddamn thing over 4 movies.
No, she doesn't.
Every movie has Dewey being like, you changed. But no, she hasn't ever.
She doesn't learn anything during Friends either. She just keeps regurgitating the same things.
Another actress who had a pretty goddamn demanding schedule.
No kidding.
Filming arguably the biggest show on TV at the time.
Yeah. For whatever reason.
Yeah, I never liked Friends either.
It's not for us.
No. So they're all converging on this, this new potential serial killer. And Dewey has a bum arm from the stabbing in the first movie. And I brought this up on our Scream podcast, the first one. That bum arm just goes away in part 3. Nerve damage just went away. And that has always bothered me big time.
Serious injury, right? I mean, for that to be totally fine within what, a year? Come on.
And then, he gets stabbed half to hell in this one. They're like, the knife went into old scar tissue, saved his life. He was not getting stabbed in the same spot multiple times. He took a few to the chest or to the back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess he's unkillable.
Fucking Michael Myers.
Fucking Dewey Riley.
Dewey.
The
name's Dewey Finn.
Oh my God. The possible, secret mastermind behind all the murders in all 4 movies. I don't know about that. But there is that brief time in this movie where he points out, maybe I'm not stupid. Maybe I just lull everyone into a false sense of security, and it allows me to move about unnoticed.
You're like, freak.
Yeah, you've been thinking about this a lot.
Psycho.
If you're not this killer, you are a killer. You've done something. I don't know. So they're all kind of just, a little in shock, but they're not convinced that this is a recurring event. This might have just been some asshole at a movie theater taking advantage of the wildest premiere in movie history. And Randy is the first one to say, like, no, he's back. This is a sequel. We're in a sequel. So he tells him the rules.
Yes. Which, shout out to Scream again, film we've already done. He does this. Does this in the first one where he stands up in front of the TV and explains to everybody, these are the horror rules. This is the horror film rules. Doing that again in like a different scenario, different setting. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's made it so cool. Watching these films so close together and being able to kind of talk about them and explain or just talk about why I like them has been like fucking therapeutic. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Never been able to really figure out why I love Scream.
That's the beauty of this podcast. We analyze this shit to death and we pinpoint why.
What is it?
We go to see them in film class and they're talking about sequels and
yes,
any sequels that have possibly surpassed the original, and that it, like, Buffy's argument is that the original film is always better.
Yeah.
And Randy's like, I beg to differ. Or Mickey, I don't know who fucking says all this
Yeah, I
shit.
can't remember who starts it.
Somebody says, aliens, inherently better. And somebody's like, well, there's no accounting for taste. Like, I love this heated ass debate. This is beautiful.
It's funny, yeah.
I took a lot of film classes in college. It never got like that. Ever. Nobody said a goddamn word.
That sucks. Everybody's just frightened. Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I really doing? I'm only 19. What the fuck? I should be out living in a classroom.
Oh my God. Well, the argument gets settled with Godfather 2.
Yes.
Where everyone's like, touche. I disagree. I think Godfather 1 is leagues better than Godfather 2.
I love both. I don't see either way. Either way is fine.
Godfather 2 is too long. I think it loses a little bit of focus. I like Godfather 1 for Brando and Pacino's kind of evolution of his character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Godfather 1 beats it for me.
That's fine. And they're both, I love them both. But yeah, the fact that they're definitively saying, like, oh yeah, okay, we all agree. That's the one we're all in agreement on? I'm not sure.
Off the top of your head, do you have any like sequels that you think surpass the original film?
Not necessarily. Surpass is hard, yeah. Because of that mindset, right? We talked about Alien and Aliens. I like Alien a little bit more. But I recognize that Aliens is more entertaining.
True. True.
I don't know. It's really hard. I don't think there is one on the top of my head anyway that it's like right there or better.
Yeah.
What about you?
I go straight to Evil Dead 2.
That one's great.
And Army of Darkness. I think they're both better than the first one.
That's fair.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up Batman Returns.
Oh yeah. That one's not light years like
or The Dark Knight.
That one's not light years. Yeah, I love Batman Begins though.
That's
I think
true.
I might like Batman Begins better than The Dark Knight.
It really depends on my mood of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
With those three, it's like, do I want to watch the kind of intense like?
Do I want Liam Neeson's amazing Ra's al Ghul? Do I want Heath Ledger's amazing
Or
Joker?
do I want the most popcorn?
Do I want
one that's the longest?
Yeah.
And,
do I want Bane kicking Batman's ass? What do I want today?
Definitely. That's the beauty of those three is that you can kind of choose based on. Yeah, I feel Batman Begins when I am in that mode. That's the one I enjoy the most. Like when I'm in that mode and I'm Begins is awesome. But Returns I definitely like better than Batman, but it's not like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, very difficult. I think Toy Story 2 is great, but it doesn't surpass Toy Story 1. Not in any. Toy Story 1's the best one by far of all four.
Yeah.
But it's great. I love Two Towers. Adore Two Towers.
I don't count Lord of the Rings because I think it's just like Randy's rule, pre-planned trilogy.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, man. I can't really think of any other ones. I love Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man. I love both.
Dawn of the Dead.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Night of the Living Dead is great, but Dawn brings it to a whole new...
Dawn does kind of raise the... Yeah. That happens a lot, right? Again, more gore, more whatever, more what.
Road Warrior.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Good call. I'm sure there's ones we're forgetting.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton.
John Wick 2. I love John Wick 2.
Yeah, that's
probably
call.
my favorite of the three.
That's a good call.
Yeah, man. Sequels are a fun thing to look at, right? Just for shits and giggles. Dumb and Dumber 2? Just kidding.
Oh, my God. Absolutely fucking not.
Terrible. Well, Dumb and Dumber is even worse. But yeah.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen in theaters, Dumb and Dumber 2. I saw that too. I was so upset.
With like my best buddy from high school, we were like, "Let's do this." Oh, what a bummer!
I didn't laugh one time.
I considered walking out. Like I contemplated, like, I feel like I could use the rest of my night in a more wise way.
Terminator 2. I think that got brought up in the movie.
T2, yeah. T2 is definitely better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would argue Christmas Vacation.
Okay, that's a good
personal
call.
favorite.
That's a good call. Yeah. It's an endless conversation when you really look at it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
But most of the time it is the first film, your Jurassic Parks, your Jawses.
Oh my God, yeah. Those are
your Predators.
That is light years ahead. There's not even a contest with those. Yeah.
No way.
For sure. Good call. Rocky?
No.
But those aren't
they're not
that bad.
terrible. I love the Rocky sequels, but the first movie is flawless. It's Rocky.
First one and the fourth one are my favorites, but yeah, the original is the original. Yeah. It's the original, the love story. We've covered that one on Oscar Sunday. That was a lot of fun.
We love Rocky.
Episode 3, go check that out. Yo, Adrian. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyway, back to Scream 2.
Dewey goes to talk to Gail, is upset that she's here chasing a story. He's like, after all that happened, can't you just leave her alone? She's like, I could, but I need a new book. She traps Sydney in an interview with Cotton Weary, which is so fucked up. Uh-huh. And even Cotton's like, what, she didn't know? Sydney's like, what are you doing? And Gail's like, well, we need the story. And Sydney's like, you bitch, and slaps her, walks away. And I love how he's like, did you get that on film?
Fucking A, Cotton.
Yeah. And Cotton just wants to be famous.
Yes.
He figured, he spent a year in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He's owed a little something. Mm-hmm. While it's hard to argue that, I think the way he goes about trying to be famous here is pretty fucking despicable.
Kind of a dick.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised they never made him, like, a Ghostface.
I know.
Like, it's such an obvious misdirect, right?
Yes.
His death at the beginning of Scream 3 is pretty good, though.
Yeah, indeed. Can't wait to cover that one. That's another. Again, I haven't seen these, in a while sometimes, and it's just so much fun to revisit them.
Yeah, it's true. Whew. So, at the police station, my mistake. Got ahead of myself. There's a sorority party.
Yes.
And Cece is alone at the sorority house, and she's the designated, like, sober one, and she's just kind of chilling. And she gets a phone call from some guy she thinks is her drunk boyfriend, but he's like, nope. What are you doing? And she kind of humors this guy for a lot longer than most people would. Then he threatens her, and she's like, oh shit. Hangs up, and then he comes in the house.
Yeah.
And attacks Buffy, and it's upsetting to see Buffy go down so easily.
Not a lot of fight there, Buffy.
I've seen that series like 6 times. I love Buffy, and to a further extent, the spinoff Angel.
Yes.
So to see her just get like thrown off a fucking roof,
just destroyed.
Oh yeah, and they find the body, the cops, and the students at the nearby, the mixer, go to investigate. Sydney has no interest in joining a sorority, and I love that because they're all like, why not? Don't you want to do absolutely nothing but pay people for it? I'll never understand fucking Greek life. Ugh. And
yeah, no comment. I don't know either.
Sydney and her boyfriend Derek go to that house, and the killer comes out of nowhere, attacks Sydney, and Derek runs after him, and then like the door opens and Derek's on the floor with like a wound on his arm. Like, come on. What do you expect us to believe? They go so out of their way to make you think it's Derek.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just Jerry O'Connell has this like super nice quality to him where I would believe him with anything.
Yes.
I don't know. At the police station, Gale and Dewey notice the names of the victims seem to loosely match the names of the victims from the Woodsboro murder. So clearly they're connected. It all comes back to Sydney's mom. That, her fucking up Billy's life started a domino effect that got so many people killed.
Yeah.
Over 4, possibly 5 movies. Good Lord.
Possibly 5, yeah.
So the police chief assigns 2 detectives to protect Sydney, and they never do dick. The group is outside amongst dozens of college students. College students, and the killer phones them, taunts them. This guy's clearly, wants them to be on the defensive here.
Yes.
And Gale and Dewey search the students in the area who have cell phones, and they're like just ripping cell phones out of people's hands. Like, who is this? It's like, who is this? And Randy's on the phone talking to him, and
that just wouldn't work today.
No.
If you take somebody's phone, they fucking freak out now. This shit is our lives, it just would be really funny in a movie today because people would not handle it.
Speaking of, I went back to the movie theaters. I'm doing that now. Unhinged with Russell Crowe.
We'll talk about it more later, I think.
Yeah.
We'll have a little conversation about that.
But that movie very much hinges on your phone is your life. Mm-hmm. And I love the way they incorporated that.
So cool.
More on that later.
Yeah, yes.
So Randy's talking to this guy, and the killer's like, you're going to get the girl. You're never going to be a leading man. And Randy's immediate reaction to that is, fuck you. And that always makes me laugh. No argument, just fuck you, man. It's the only time I've ever liked Jamie Kennedy is this franchise.
Yeah, I knew you're not a huge fan of him.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a big fan, but I do. I know it's silly, but Malibu's Most Wanted. Me and my brothers, watched that a lot growing up, and quote it still to this day. Like streets of Malibu, like everybody's. We got bag ladies. It's women carrying bags in the mall, and everybody's strapped to the 9. It's a 9-iron, golf club. That shit's really funny. But Jamie Kennedy, I've never really gotten the shtick. What's that movie? Kicking It Old School, all that. Yeah, it's not that stuff's not really for me, I guess.
Yeah, I knew Son of the Mask was shit when I saw it as a kid.
There you go. Yeah.
And then from there, I just had this I don't like this man.
Yeah,
He's not Jim Carrey, and he never will be.
You make bad choices. Yeah.
I had that Harry Potter moment of how dare you stand where he stood? It was just The Mask was a big deal to me as a kid.
Because it's good.
Yeah, still hilarious. One of my favorites. Maybe my favorite Jim Carrey.
Ooh.
But that again for another time.
Yeah, I can't even begin to think.
So while Randy's walking around trying to find who's talking on their cell phone, he walks past the van, Gale's news van, badmouths Billy, and the guy immediately throws open the door, pulls him in, stabs him to death. We lose Randy pretty damn early on.
Yeah.
And if anybody should have been safe, the man who comes up with the rules, Randy, should have known, don't do what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Preaching to himself there.
Yeah. And then Gale and Dewey find him, and
yeah,
Sydney's pretty hurt by this because he was a survivor.
Yeah, he gets it. They've gone through this together.
Yeah, Derek doesn't get it. Derek thinks that, singing a song in the cafeteria is the best way to pull this off. That was so cringy. I couldn't deal with that.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, oof. Fucking Greek people.
Yep.
I mean, frat people, not people from Greece.
Yeah.
I got no problem with the Greeks.
Yeah, hell no.
Yet.
Greece is a beautiful country. I got to go to Athens, in 2013.
Oh, nice.
I went there for a few days with my brother and our friend. Oh, man. Gorgeous. Gorgeous kind of... I went during the summer, and, it was nice and hot, but it was just so beautiful. Those images are, ingrained in my head. So, yeah, we're definitely not talking about Greek people.
No.
We're talking about, the fraternity shit. Sorority shit.
Yeah. So Gale and Dewey visit a lecture room to watch the video footage they've been taking, and they get hot and heavy. And they realize that the footage contains another TV screen Gail notices another TV screen playing footage
Yeah.
that her cameraman hadn't taken and realizes that's probably the killer. And finally, it shows the backs of Dewey and Gail as they watch the video. That's nice.
That's a touch.
That's creepy.
That's some shit that has taken me some watching of other horror movies and other movies in general to understand. Okay, that was nice. That was crafted pretty well there.
I had a short story idea I wanted to develop that involved voyeurism of that kind, of like somebody sending people tapes of them watching like them from different angles.
Yeah.
And the last tape was going to be the angle was from the closet.
Oh,
And it was like a live recording. Yeah.
it's right there.
Ooh.
Spooky.
So they turn around, notice Ghostface is in the projector room. Dewey gives chase. Gail is cornered in the sound system room, manages to hide in the recording compartment. Dewey enters, tries to get Gail's attention, and he gets stabbed, quote unquote, to death.
Yeah.
Gail is like, no, the man I kind of maybe sort of thought about falling in love with. Gail then manages to bar the door, and prior to this, Sydney, after learning about Randy's death, Cotton approached her in the library and was like, hey, guess what? Diane Sawyer. Huh? You? Me? Diane? Huh?
Come on.
And she's like, no, this was very traumatic, and I don't want any part of this. Understand that. And he's like, hey, you put me in jail, you owe me. And she's like, I said sorry as many times as I'm going to say it. And he gets like aggressive, and the cops arrest him for being aggressive, and he's like, last I checked, I have rights. I mean, yeah, but you could be a little less douchey about it, Cotton. You're not helping your case here.
It's a bold strategy there, Cotton.
F and A, man. F and A. God. And while running through the building, Gail runs into Cotton covered in blood. And he's like, no, I was trying to help him. Good God, Cotton, you need to work on your alibis. You'd think spending a year in prison would convince him to try a little harder to look innocent. Maybe when you see somebody covered in blood, you walk the fuck away. No. Don't touch him.
That time behind bars just whizzed by.
Go call the cops, but don't touch him. Your DNA is now on the body, Cotton. You're going back to prison.
Come on, Cotton.
Ugh, Cotton. Jesus.
Cotton.
So the detectives protecting Sydney are attacked when their vehicle is stopped at a traffic light. They get killed almost instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the killer crashes the car, killing the detectives, and he gets knocked unconscious. And this might be my favorite part of the movie. This is so goddamn tense, and I love it. Is when Ghostface is unconscious in the car, and they're trying to escape by crawling over him. You keep expecting it to just, rah, but it never happens. And they climb out of the car, Sydney and Hallie, and they're on their way out. They're running away from him, but Sydney's like, wait, I need to know.
Yeah.
You couldn't have just taken a moment when you were over there. You have to know now. And she goes back, and he's gone. And then somehow he comes behind the building on the other side and stabs Hallie to death. I don't know how he
managed to cover all that ground.
Well, I'm a goddamn idiot. 2 killers.
Yeah.
Shoot me in the fucking head.
But if it was just one, you're right.
God damn it.
It'd probably be impossible if it was one.
Sydney then runs to the school theater, and you think that as the series progressed, Sydney became less attached to her friends.
Yeah.
Like she started, don't love this person because they'll probably die.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's part of her progression, right? It's kind of sad, but
very sad.
But it's
when your family and friends keep getting stabbed to death by Ghostface.
You try to stop getting attached.
Oof. God. So she's confronted by the killer in the school theater. Derek, meanwhile, has fucking vanished because he gave his Greek letters to a girl, and his frat's like, no, how dare you? Oh, you're going to suffer for this because all this cutesy college bullshit. And it means nothing in the grand scheme of things, folks.
It really does not.
Ugh. All you idiots who pledged. You proud of yourselves? Ugh. So the killer reveals himself to be Mickey. Wow. Shocker.
Fucking Mick.
And Derek is tied to a sun because of the stage props. Speaking of, I forgot to point this out. The theater teacher is fucking David Warner.
Yeah. We did not point that out.
How awesome is that?
Ugh.
We love David Warner.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't?
And Derek's tied to the sun. He's got no shirt on. And he's like, you motherfucker. You were my best friend. And
Yeah.
Mickey's like, hey, you bailed on me, man. We were supposed to do this together, just to confuse Sydney. And she's like,
Yeah.
what? And Derek's like, the fuck you talking about? No, I didn't kill anybody. And she's like, how dare you? How could you do this? And he's like, like his argument's not great.
No.
But Mickey then shoots Derek in the chest. And Derek's like, I wouldn't have hurt you. And she's like, I know. Well, no, you didn't, because you tied him. And Mickey's like, by the way, he's innocent. I just wanted to hurt you.
Oh, great.
And he says he does have a partner. Sydney turns around to see Gail coming out of the stage door. And at first I was like, what?
I know, right?
But no.
No.
It's Andy's mom. Debbie Salt. He's like, this reporter who's been kind of hanging around the whole time trying to get Gail's attention, when in reality, she's Billy Loomis's mother, who's had some work done. Despite having work done, Sydney recognizes her almost immediately.
Yeah. Was Facebook around then? I don't think so.
And Sydney recognizes her as Mrs. Loomis, Billy's mother. Mickey reveals that his plan was to be caught for the murders so he could become famous and be immortalized and blame it on horror movies. Fuck you, man. The horror genre has enough to worry about without the fucking government getting involved.
Yeah. We are able to watch them and just watch them and leave them.
Yeah.
Not become them.
Nope. I've seen a lot of horror movies, a lot of grisly shit. Not once have I thought, I want to go butcher somebody and wear them as a suit. It's not how normal people function.
Or anything along the lines of any of the horror movies we've watched.
No.
I want cars to come to life and start trying to kill people.
That ATM just called me an asshole. Yeah. I don't know if I might be okay with that one.
It'd be kind of funny. For like a week. Not forever, right? It'd be funny for a few days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay, I want to go back to normal now.
So they met on a chat room, Mickey and Mrs. Loomis, and are like, hey, you want to be a serial killer. I want revenge for my son's death. Maybe we partner up, because that happens. And she agreed to pay his college tuition in return for his part in the killing. This is fucking stupid. But it's a good movie.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But remember, this is the ending that they had to use because the original ending got leaked. Mm-hmm. So I understand this being a little rushed.
Oh, yeah, had to be.
And they worked all this out, and now, they have everybody where they need to be. And Mickey wants to go to prison anyway. But Mrs. Loomis is like, nope, no trial. Shoots Mickey in the chest 3 times. He collapses. She's then going to kill Sydney and get her revenge.
Yes.
First, she shoots Gail, who falls down. And Sydney points out that if Mrs. Loomis had not abandoned Billy, then he and Stu wouldn't have started their killing spree. But nope. Mrs. Loomis is like, how dare you call me a bad mother despite not being involved in my son's life? Ugh. So, Sydney and Mrs. Loomis have a fight. Mrs. Loomis is distracted when Sydney hits her with a prop jar. She gets barricaded backstage, uses the props to kind of fuck with her. And Cotton shows up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, as if we weren't going to see Cotton again.
Cotton is a joke. He makes me laugh. He makes the worst decisions.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He makes horror movie decisions.
Yes. Fully aware. And he has a gun, and he's like, hey, what's going on here?
Hey. He kind of is that, casual.
Yeah. Like, hey, so... Oh.
Don't got much time here.
Yeah. And Sydney's like, she's the killer. And Mickey also is the killer. And he's like, oh, really?
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. All he gives a fuck about is Diane Sawyer.
Yes.
And he brings that up. He's like, so Sydney, any chance of that Diane Sawyer as like a way to be like, move over there.
Yeah.
Like, he does not very subtly be like, come on.
Out of the way.
And he does shoot her. He shoots Mrs. Loomis, makes the right decision after Sidney says it's a deal. And I bet that wasn't, like, he was going to help her regardless, I bet, because Cotton's probably a good person. And, Gail gets up. She's alive, scares the shit out of Cotton. Cotton's like, is there anybody else down there? And Cotton gives Gail a gun, and they stand over Mrs. Loomis waiting for her to get up, because that always happens. And then Mickey gets up, and they shoot him down.
Yeah.
They go outside, talk to the news and the cops. They all want to interview Sidney, but Sidney's like, go talk to Cotton. He's the real hero. And Cotton's like, yeah, I'll talk to you guys for a price. Here's my card. Ugh. Capitalist. And we see a stretcher being wheeled out of one of the buildings, and it's Dewey, somehow alive despite being stabbed multiple times like hours ago.
It's Dewey.
And yeah, the bum arm won't be a problem in Scream 3. That really bothers me. Nerve damage doesn't just come back like that. It's not how fucking... So yeah, everybody's okay, except for all the people who died. And
That happens a lot. It happens a lot in horror movies where it's like, the movie's coming to an end. Now we got to distract you from all the death you just witnessed.
Yep. Nobody's going to be okay. Scream 3, Sidney's a fucking recluse with Jamie Lee Curtis style, house defenses.
Yes.
And Sidney walks off campus having survived another ghost face. And our hero will be back.
Yeah.
Oof.
Survive the murders yet again.
Yep. Here are some Filmgazm facts for you. Number one scene in Kevin Williamson's screenplay was described simply as, quote, Wes Craven will make it scary. Love that confidence.
Me too.
Like, I don't need to describe what's going on here. Wes has it.
That's perfect.
Number 2, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert loved this movie. Siskel never gave good reviews to horror movies, particularly slasher movies, and he slammed Scream. Ebert almost never gave slasher movies good reviews, and the fact that both of them liked this movie is a small miracle. What? They both hated Scream. They see Scream 2, and they're like, that was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
What happened there? God. This is awesome. Number 3. This was originally scheduled to open alongside Tomorrow Never Dies and Titanic.
Oof.
Both blockbusters moved their dates because they didn't want to be pitted against a surefire hit like Scream 2. How awesome is that? Titanic was afraid of this movie.
Fuck yeah. That's right.
Oh, I love that. Number 4, according to a rumor, the identity of Ghostface was changed after the original script was leaked on the internet. The original murderers apparently were Hallie and fucking Derek.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek.
And this was referenced in Scream 3, where all the actors and actresses on the movie Stab 3 are kept in the dark about the script. And I'm as cool as it would have been to see Jerry O'Connell just like abandon the nice guy facade and be a psychopath, would have been a little lazy having it be the boyfriend again.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think they made the right call.
Feel that. Yeah, for sure.
I give Scream 2 an 8. It's a solid sequel and an enjoyable entry in the franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I give it an 8. Echo that exact same thing. Just oodles of fun.
Oodles.
Fun, good rewatch.
Yes.
And and just encourage people to watch it. Is it on?
Scream 2 and 3 are available on CBS All Access.
That's right. That's right.
Amazingly, 1 and 4 are not. I don't know why.
Weird.
Yeah. They were all on Netflix for the longest time.
Yeah, which was great.
Right when you need them, they're gone.
Of course.
So, I think that brings us to a nice little movie draft.
Yeah.
Where we talk about the films of certain years, try to draft a solid list of great films. And since Scream 2 came out in 97, that's the year we'll be drawing from. So we have a pool of films that we've both seen, and we're going to pick and choose and try to see who has the most definitive list of great movies.
Yeah.
And here's our list of films to choose from. We're not going by genre because there's not enough to separate.
Yes.
Our pool of films are The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Titanic, Starship Troopers, Boogie Nights, Good Will Hunting, The Fifth Element, Hercules, Men in Black, Face Off, Batman and Robin, Jackie Brown, L.A. Confidential, Donnie Brasco, Air Force One, The Game, Liar Liar, Con Air, Cube, Alien Resurrection, Lost Highway, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, As Good as It Gets, Scream 2, Gattaca, Tomorrow Never Dies, Spawn, George of the Jungle, The Rainmaker, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Chasing Amy, Flubber, The Full Monty, Grosse Point Blank, Bean, Beverly Hills Ninja, and Vegas Vacation.
37 movies.
97. Good year.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
So I'll take the first pick here. That's typically how we do it. Connor will finish it off. Oh, man, there's so many to choose from. All right. But I'm going to go with my gut here and just pick what is probably my favorite of all of them, and that's Jackie Brown.
I knew it. I knew it.
Tarantino's my guy. Jackie Brown's, along with Pulp Fiction, would be my favorite movie of his. I find it to be a quite moving film. Definitely a 10 out of 10.
For sure. Okay, so my pick, 97, give me Starship Troopers.
Right on. I haven't seen that one in a while.
That is one of my favorites. I've seen that movie maybe like 4 times in the past 3 months alone. That's such a great movie.
That's wonderful. This is very, very off the wall year, right? As far as the movies that we have, I want to have some, a different variety. So I'm gonna take this one off the board because I feel like you like it, but I'm not sure. That'd be Disney's Hercules.
I do like Hercules. That is a great movie.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. The music is incredible.
I think Disney's 90s run is unrivaled. They have so
incredible, right?
many. It's their best decade they ever had. Oh,
no arguments here.
I am going to snag As Good as It Gets.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's so good. So lovely. One of my favorite quotes from that one is when he says, "You make me want to be a better person."
My favorite is go sell crazy somewhere else. We're all stocked up here. I say that all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie. I'd venture to say that's probably a 9, close to a 10 for me as well. It's a good film. This would be my third film. I got to do it. Boogie Nights, my second favorite movie of the whole group.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson. So I'll take PTA and Quentin Tarantino. We got a lot of cocaine on this side.
Awesome. Boogie Nights. Okay. Oof. I'm probably gonna have a sci-fi. I'm gonna have a lot more sci-fi films than you because I'm gonna take The Fifth Element.
Ooh, that's a good movie.
That is such an underrated, bizarre movie. I miss back, in the 90s, not every sci-fi movie was Star Wars, Star Trek, or a superhero movie. They really tried to do weird shit, and it usually worked in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I like that. We've lost that, I think. I don't remember the last time a film like The Fifth Element really wowed me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's definitely, there was a time when they were churned out like that. Yeah, I agree. Good call. That's a fun movie. Really cool cast. This one's tough. I'm gonna snag Good Will Hunting. Just because I need a through and through drama in my group, and I would personally probably give it an I don't know, maybe an 8 or a 9. I really like that movie. It's good stuff.
Very nice. That is a great movie. I don't know.
So I got one more. You got a couple more.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it right now. I don't think either of us wants Titanic.
Oh, no.
Which is interesting because it's the
I'm not.
the film of '97.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm not just not a huge fan. I think it's fine.
I'm gonna take Chasing Amy.
I figured you love that movie.
I do love that movie. That is it's one of the best love stories I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a funny movie. Ben Affleck, man. We recently did our last Oscar Sunday episode was on Fight Club, and we talked a bit about David Fincher. So I'm gonna go ahead and take The Game. Which rounds out my 5 pretty nicely. That would be Jackie Brown, Hercules, Boogie Nights, Good Will Hunting, and The Game. I've got 3 of my favorite directors ever in that group there. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, this is a good group.
Damn. I have a lot of mediocre stuff to pick from. We grabbed all the great movies. Oh man.
I mean, yeah, there's a David Lynch movie that you don't really like, and obviously I love him. There's a fucking Austin Powers movie. Those are great.
I'm gonna take Men in Black.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
To me, that's like that's the best pick.
It was
I like LA Confidential.
I do. It was between Men in Black and Face Off for me. I love Face Off.
Wild.
That is a great movie.
Wild ass movie. Liar Liar is pretty great. Con Air is just come on. It's Con Air, right?
So yeah, my 5 are Starship Troopers, As Good as It Gets, The Fifth Element, Chasing Amy, and Men in Black. A very strange marathon there.
I got Jackie Brown, Hercules, Boogie Nights, Good Will Hunting, and The Game.
Very nice. I think you got me beat this time.
Yeah, slightly. And for me personally, I have a couple 10s in here, and then again, covering 3. David Fincher, Paul Thomas Anderson, Quentin Tarantino. Those are 3 guys that I have a hard time ever not liking their work.
I've got 4 9s and a 10.
I would say, okay, that's good. I would say I have 2 10s, 2 9s, and an 8. I would say Hercules and The Game are a 9. Good Will Hunting is close to a 9. I don't know. I really like it. I really do. I'm not trying to say that's like the worst movie of my group, but for me personally, I think I like it the least out of these 5.
Yeah, fair enough.
But what's your favorite movie from my group? Would it be Jackie Brown? Would it be Tarantino? Or would it be The Game?
I think it's Boogie Nights, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a fantastic movie.
I thought for a second you were going to steal it from me just because you know how much I love it. That'd be fine. I understand. It's great. The cast, right? As time goes on, there's like 25 people in it that are like still doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
There's just, it's that one scene of Dirk Diggler in a recording booth singing, "You got the touch!" I can't get over that.
And John C. Reilly like, yeah, man, that sounds great.
It's so terrible.
Yeah,
but it represents the whole goddamn movie for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Pete is very good at kind of like, sometimes you'll see like a direct line, right, where it's like, oh, this changed. And in that movie is very much at the New Year's party when William H. Macy's character shoots himself.
Yeah.
And so the movie completely flips, and now you have the scenes like, "You got the touch," and he's completely coked out and losing his mind and on a downward spiral. And Pete is so good at capturing that. He's good at capturing the like agony and pain of failing.
To make a movie about the fucking porn industry in 97 and have the guts to make it like a legit drama, never waver in that, never not take it seriously. It's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is really, I had seen There Will Be Blood, and there might have been others I'd seen by Paul Thomas Anderson, but when I saw Boogie Nights, it was very clear that this guy has this style, this way about, like you said, taking the story and taking it very fucking seriously.
Yeah.
But it's also a very funny movie.
This was definitely my first Paul Thomas Anderson. I didn't know who he was when I watched this movie.
Yeah.
But I knew this was a good movie.
Right?
Yeah.
It has that. You're just like, damn.
Yeah.
Well, I've read stuff like reviews when it came out. People were like, is this the next Scorsese? Like, holy shit, the way he's doing these tracking shots is like, this is like Goodfellas, but porn. Like, what's going on? It really is like epic. It's like an epic tale. And he hasn't really captured that sense. I mean, he's done great things. There Will Be Blood and The Master.
Well, I kind of like that. With every
different.
movie, he's always experimenting.
Yes.
It's always something new with this guy, and I love that.
I cannot wait for his newest film where, apparently Bradley Cooper's in it. It's going to be based around like teenage characters in California in the 70s. Ugh. So you're getting that Boogie Nights vibe again, but with different characters. I can't wait.
Right on. I think you got me this time.
Just barely. You beat me. What? This is our third or fourth?
This is our third, I believe.
Third, yeah. You definitely got me those first 2 times.
Well, you grabbed legit critically acclaimed films, and I went all personal on this one. Yeah.
This year happens to be personal and critical. Yeah. With those 3 specifically, The Game, Boogie Nights, and Jackie Brown. I adore those 3 directors. Adore them. Yeah. I know you do too.
I do.
I mean, we just did Fight Club and raved about The Game and how it's underrated.
Yeah.
And how it doesn't get looked at as like one of Fincher's greatest works, and they all are. That's the thing, except for Alien 3.
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
No, it's not. I got fucked on that one. But yeah, these are always fun. Is there any 97 movie that I need to see?
Mouse Hunt, my friend.
I know.
It's not exactly a critical darling, but it is a super favorite of mine. It's such a simple premise. These two brothers inherit an old house from their father. Turns out this house is like a lost architect's like masterpiece, and everyone wants it. And they have to clean up this house to make it ready for an auction. But there's this mouse that's in the house, and they keep trying to kill this mouse. And the lengths they go to kill this fucking mouse is unbelievable. It's a giant Tom and Jerry movie, basically, with Nathan Lane and Lee Evans. Christopher Walken plays an exterminator that like the mouse gets one up on. It's fucking crazy.
I'm in.
Yeah, you would love this movie. It is so funny. I've loved it since I was a kid. And it just makes me laugh more every time I watch it.
Incredible. Incredible stuff. I've got a few. I know you've heard this a lot. You live in San Antonio. I'm from here. I was born here. Selena.
Oh, now it's on audio. Now it's out there in the world.
She's an absolute legend. You'll get around to it one day.
I'll see it, yeah.
But really seriously, my favorite Studio Ghibli movie is Princess Mononoke, and that came out in '97.
Yeah.
That would be your favorite as well. The tones of it, the fucking darkness of it, the message of it, very, very powerful. Very cool movie. Visually stunning. And then Rainy Dog, Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of his movies, right? But we did Audition and Ichi the Killer, and I felt like kind of following it up. So I watched Rainy Dog. Fucking awesome. Can't wait to watch more of his films. So these are great. You know, it's really fun to stack a year up and see what it had. Especially for Connor and I, we've seen so many from each year, especially in the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, and you for the 80s, and me for the 70s. It's really funny how that has worked out. But we're going to keep doing this. If there's only like 30 or 20, 30, 40 films, we'll do, pick 5 or so. But when we, are up in like, I think it was 53 for 2019, we'll separate them into categories and choose based on categories, so we both have to choose a lot of variety, and it'll be more challenging. But it's just a fun exercise to do at the end here.
It is. It's exciting. It's a great way to close out the show since we moved This Week in Film over to Oscar Sunday.
Exactly.
And fantastic.
What are we doing next week?
Oof. Next week is a big deal, folks.
It is.
Next week, we are celebrating the 100th episode of the Filmgazm podcast. Not counting bonuses. We're very excited, and we knew we wanted to go big. So we're ending the Weird Shit Wednesday run with a dive into legendarily weird director David Lynch.
Yes.
With a full-fledged focus on his prequel film, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me.
Woo! Oh, man.
We'll discuss Lynch's films and what we think about them. Then Austin and I will spend the remainder of the show diving into Twin Peaks, The Missing Pieces, and The Return, with a particular focus on Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
Sure to be a big old Twin Peaks extravaganza. We'll have plenty of cherry pie and damn good coffee to keep us pepped up.
Oh, yes. I cannot wait. Oh, my brothers. It's gonna be a lot of fun, right? This is one of the more divisive TV, movie, worlds that someone's created, right? Twin Peaks is... There's so much to talk about.
So you could do an entire podcast series about Twin Peaks.
Yes.
We're going to try to cram it into like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
But, we're going to talk about what we like about the show.
What they could change, what could be better.
David Lynch is kind of like, his road from Eraserhead to Twin Peaks: The Return, and just talk about the man himself and the films he's done over the years and what we think about them. And the prep for this has been ongoing for quite a while now, because I watched Twin Peaks months ago.
Well, that's the thing with Weird Shit Wednesday, right? Is we used to do those every 5th episode.
Yeah.
And it required all 5 of those weeks of prep.
Yeah.
When we did PSH, we watched over 20 films within that month.
And also,
he was in,
and as well as doing the regular weekly episode
and doing reviews and trying to keep up with articles. Yeah, no, it's a lot on your plate when you're doing Weird Shit Wednesday. So yeah, Twin Peaks is the last one.
Yes,
but it's also kind of like a, we're pushing into the future. Hey, we're gonna keep talking about weird things and strange stuff like Twin Peaks and stuff that's of the horror.
We're gonna do kind of what we've been doing and just kind of keep the tangents as their Weird Shit Wednesdays. Just kind of talk about filmmakers that pop into our heads, things about film that just we want to branch out on, like the whole thing we did about Logan today, things like that.
Yeah,
we want to keep it organic and not we don't want to cram so much into a finite amount of time because we're gonna miss stuff.
Yeah.
And we wanted to keep it fresh.
Yeah, loosey-goosey. We got the Oscar Sunday, so we talked about Fight Club, so obviously David Fincher came up, and we really got to dive into what we love about his career.
Yeah.
Again, creating that space to talk about those things organically. That's what we're doing.
So this will mostly be an episode on Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
Yes.
That's the focus.
Twin Peaks, yes.
But everything around it will be David Lynch and Blue Velvet and Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive and the Twin Peaks Return and everything we can think of that's David Lynch. And we'll just embrace him as a filmmaker and a weird fucking guy.
Exactly.
And talk about why we love him.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Happy 100 to us.
Yeah. Please come back next week and join us for that.
Yes, indeed.
And watch his stuff, you know?
Yeah.
There's a crazy amount of stuff on Criterion, and his Twin Peaks has always been there's access to it, right? It's not something that's not attainable. So
if you want to brush up on your Twin Peaks, the original run is available on Netflix and Hulu.
Yes.
And the Fire Walk with Me film is currently available only on Criterion Channel.
The movie is just on Criterion, but it's available to rent, $2.99, $3.99 for HD.
The Missing Pieces also on Criterion, and The Return is on Showtime.
Yes.
So if you want to keep up with us, that's how you do it.
Yeah, and if if you're like, hey, I'll just watch one of the movies, go for it, man. We've watched all of, Lost Highway and Wild at Heart, Mulholland Drive. Like you said, Sense Eraserhead. We're trying to see all that shit.
Yes.
And have context.
And you can check that episode out on Spotify if you want. We are now on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
Filmgazm and Oscar Sunday, both on Spotify. Very excited. Long time coming. We're finally there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And speaking of Oscar Sunday, this weekend we will be doing Z from 1969. A Algerian French movie directed by a Greek guy.
Costa Gravis.
We're very excited to do that one. It's the first foreign film we've done on Oscar Sunday. We're wicked excited. So join us on that, again, also on Spotify. So thanks, guys, and keep joining us.
Thank you very much. And we couldn't do this without you guys. Until then, stay out of Woodsboro. And just know that if you are close to Sidney Prescott, you are probably going to die a brutal death.
For sure.
See you next Wednesday.
Peace.